For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com.
Hey, Peanuts! Welcome to the Hey Peanuts Sports Show, a Wednesday night show that features the sports opinions of the fans sitting up in peanut heaven. This show airs Wednesday nights here on Beaver County Radio, and it is brought to you by TEK Roofing Specialist in Elwood City. The phone lines are open at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Now, let's introduce your host for the show, Scott Kincaid and Bryan Pasquale.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Hey Peanuts Sports Show. It's been a long week. It's a roller coaster ride if you're a Pirates fan. But again, we're safe. I'm ready to get back in line. We're ahead. 28-27 is our record. It was an exciting game today. You just never know which Pirate team's going to show up. I'm glad you guys are coming back and listening to us. Tuning in to 99.3 FM WBVP, 95.7 FM WNBA, and tune into Beaver County Radio Facebook Live. Check out us visually, although I think we sound good. What do you think? How's it been going, Brian? Did you have a good week?
I had an excellent week.
Nice. Not getting sound.
Really?
That's okay.
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Trust us.
So,
the last thing we can't do is hear you.
So, I was hoping for a West Coast sweep. Obviously, I didn't get that. But, the secondary wish came through was, well, maybe everybody else will suck too. And they did. So, potentially, the Brewers could lose tonight. We're tied for first.
Yeah, we're a half game back as we speak.
Right.
They play the Toronto Blue Jays tonight.
And that's a good team. We've played them. I don't think the Brewers have anything for them. But then again, it's been a crazy year. The A's just beat the Braves. I mean, that's
twice.
Crazy. Twice. Right. That was
I don't know when they play today.
Maybe they got some more people to put, on base. That's their angle, right? In Oakland, put them on base. We don't care how. Just get on base.
They exist.
Right.
Right. Just get on base. But I do like the Braves. I mean, if you were to look at one of the two solid teams in the NL right now is the Braves and the Dodgers.
Right.
And so,
well, the Diamondbacks are doing pretty well too.
Diamondbacks are doing pretty good.
But after that, it is just like either you're a couple games over 500, you're 500, or you're a couple games below 500. And then there's a couple cellar dwellers. But the bulk of the National League is right around 500.
Yeah, it's not impressive. And the fact that everybody in the National League Central is separated by, 4 games? 4.5 games heading into today?
Yeah, the Cardinals are 25 and 32, so they're only a few games behind us, and they're in the cellar. But they're up next on our list to play. We play them Friday, Saturday, Sunday at home.
So any other year, this would seem like if you didn't look at everybody else and you just looked at the Pirates and don't even look at their standings, just look at their record, you'd be like, okay, this is the Pirates. This is what we expect to see. This happens every year. And that this year, everybody else is sucking. And we're not, I don't think we're that bad. I just don't think we're that bad. And I think we got to rate ourselves we don't suck as bad as the other guy, and that's how we're going to make it in. And then, O'Neill Cruz should be healthy by the playoffs. There's a lot of things that have hope. There's a lot of things to have hope for. Well, I don't want to go to the playoffs if we're just going to be one and done. I want to go.
Not? I don't care. I'd take that.
Well, I'd rather go than not go. Correct. But I would rather, in my vision and I'm a golfer, so I visualize the shot before I try to make it. And I'm trying to visualize our season. And I know I said 88 wins, and I still think there's a chance. We did the math. There's 107 games left.
60 and 47.
60 and 47. That's not out of reach.
It's not, especially with this next 6 games. The last place, Cardinals, and then the very, very last place, Oakland Athletics, who, I don't know, maybe they're getting hot now. We'll see.
But I mean, if you had talked to and any other Pirates fan, you talked to him 3 days ago after we only picked up one against the Mariners, which for some reason all of a sudden looked like a great baseball team, and I don't think they're that great, but we made them look great out there in Seattle. So I'm very positive. I'm not negative Nancy. I want to be positive, and I still see us doing well. And like I said, when we analyze all these other teams, we aren't as bad. We're not as bad as they are. We're probably going to be in that position, and we should continue to give support to our team, which I'm sure we are.
So this is kind of like the opposite of the 2015 season, where the Cardinals won 100, we won 98, and the Cubs won 97.
Yeah.
This is like
Right.
the exact opposite of that.
Yeah,
like
nobody.
It's anybody's game.
And I'll add this too. I think if there was any month for the Pirates to go on a complete and utter downslide, this was it. This was the month to do it. Because you think of the teams that the Pirates played, none of them in the division, almost half, I think half, if not close to half, were in the American League. So these are
stacked.
Yeah. Well, not even that. Whatever their records are, is that the games that matter are these ones, the ones in June. So if you were going to be terrible any month of the year, that was the month to do it, was in May. And turns out they did.
Right. They
It's going to look ridiculous at the end of the year when you have teams in the American League who are not. Did my sign fall?
Yeah,
You're okay.
Fell. Sorry, guys. The phone number's still good. 412-969-1167.
That sign didn't
TEK
fall.
Roofing. We do not put the roof on with duct tape. We just held the sign up with it. We're still working with those details, but I wanted to make sure I had the sign back there. But as I was saying, back at the end of the year, we're going to have teams in the American League that have 12 games over 500, didn't make the playoffs, and somehow the Padres are going to sneak in at a 498 under 500 or something like that's going to happen. It's going to really seem lopsided, but the playoffs are in baseball always a different monster. You just don't know who's going to have that, and it always comes down to me, an elite pitcher. So when you get to the playoffs, who has the best pitcher of these teams? Who has the elite pitcher? Who has the star in that department? And they're the one I want to put my money on, not the big hitter. I want to put my money where the elite pitcher is. And today, we had an elite pitcher. I think Mitch Keller
fantastic,
is absolutely awesome. So if we can keep him healthy and we can keep the hope alive, I think we can get those 60 wins.
I would take Mitch Keller in a playing
And I think
game.
we have a
Yes.
really good chance of doing something great in the playoffs, but it's a roller coaster ride. This could turn around in the next month, and we're talking about should we tank and get the next number one draft pick or whatever. And I don't think that's the way anybody wants to think, but that's kind of the way Pirates
They
usually
tried
go.
that this month, but Mitch Keller wouldn't let him sink.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was an absolute stud this month.
Yeah, his games were the best games, and all the other games were just not.
Yeah, I mean,
At all.
Oviedo pitched well yesterday, but it's here and there with the pitchers.
Coaching's bad.
Hill got rocked.
Coaching's bad.
Didn't it? Oh.
We're winning games. We're winning despite bad coaching. We talked about today. Why is this guy on the roster? A. B. Why is he bunting? We bunted, 2-3 times today? For
Yeah,
what reason? Why you can't hit the ball? Why are we to bunt?
Yeah, it was the
And
first.
and they were not successful bunts.
Yeah, it was the second inning, first and third, one out. Owings, for some reason, is in the majors and batting for I don't know what reason. I guess they like defense. And they have him try to lay down a bunt. He pops it up to the pitcher, double play at third.
Right.
End of inning.
And I mean, I understand he probably shouldn't be there, but he was 2 games ago, we were losing 14-3. He was our position player pitcher. Did you see that?
You love that.
I do love that.
It is cool.
It is really cool. And it's really cool if they do well. He pitched the whole inning, got all 3 outs, but he loaded the bases in the process. So it was an interesting inning we're going to stick with this guy because we're already losing 14-3, see what he does. And he pulled it out. They didn't score against him.
Mm-mm.
And so that was kind of neat. And maybe that's why they got him in there because you got to have one. This new setup with the pitch clock and the stealing And the amount of pitches that pitchers pitch, it's insane how many they pitch. I want to say it was 60 pitches I saw one pitcher for the Mariners. 60 pitches he pitched against us, even though they beat us. He pitched 60 pitches in 2 innings. That's a little above and beyond, you know.
Right.
And
Well, it's just a bad day.
Or it's just a bad day. But, I mean, you got to keep him in. And he was still doing his job.
Yeah.
You know, if it takes 9 pitches to strike the guy out, it takes 9 pitches to strike the guy out, or 10 pitches to strike the guy out. That's what it takes.
Right.
So you leave the guy in. You don't hold him accountable. Oh, it took you too many pitches to get him out. It's your mound. You get to pitch, right? As many pitches as you want, and it's only some other guy counting them. But they had to pull him after 2 innings. He was actually pitching good. No one hit on him. But then their bullpen was strong against us. I don't know if there's something weird going on in Seattle, or just you got to be in the American League, I guess.
Well, speaking of bad batters,
Oh, yeah, we have a bunch.
Austin Hedges.
Why?
I was trying to figure out why they're keeping him. And supposedly, defensively, and I was looking up some weird, crazy stats here. I got them on my phone here. Deserved run prevented and catching defense added, whatever those 2 stats mean, he is like twice as good as any other catcher.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
So what you're saying is he's Chris Stewart 2.0 is what you're saying.
Yes.
Right. But he just can't hit.
Yeah, he they tried to bunt him today again because he can't hit, obviously. But yeah, supposedly that's what they want. They want him to help the pitching staff, and I guess he's doing it regardless of the fact he can't hit.
If he can hit, I mean, that basically makes him one of the best catchers in all of baseball.
Right. He's
Except for that
50% of the way there.
Johnny Bench.
One small problem, except it's kind of a really big one.
Yeah, he can't. I don't understand why he can't hit the ball.
I'm sure. I mean, some will say, "Oh, it's just a cold streak." 2 months is less than a cold streak. It's below average.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, and Owings, I just between those two, I mean, I guess we need a shortstop because Castro can't play short, but I'd rather have a bad shortstop that can hit the ball.
We need O'Neill Cruz. Are you listening? We miss you, baby. Come back. Get healthy. Because you know that if he was not hurt, I bet you we're 4 games above 500 right now, if not more.
Well, we don't have a leadoff guy, and he was obviously our leadoff batter, except for against lefties. So
to me, he's the future of the team, and I was really, really disappointing for me to see him get hurt this year. I saw him play. I thought, oh my goodness, this is the next guy, MVP. And now, you know, it was a great matchup with McCutchen coming back, and I just thought that the combination was going to be great. To see him get hurt so early in the season and hopefully he comes back even, 75%.
he's young.
And it was his ankle.
Yeah, I
so
think
he could still throw at 90-something miles an hour from shortstop to first.
right. I just hope he has his full mobility this year. I mean, I'm sure by next season or whatever he'll be, 100%. But we'll see how that ankle is when he comes back this
and
season.
to be fair, that could mean a lot of different things because next year you may not even have someone like McCutchen, and some of these other guys might be down the road as well. Brian Reynolds, for example, and that's not
McCutchen actually announced that he was not going anywhere else. This is it.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, okay then.
That was an official. Well, I guess that was a statement he made. Was he wants to finish his career in Pittsburgh, and if he can't play here, he's going to retire.
Well, you know who else said that? Brett Favre in Green Bay. That didn't work.
Brett Favre.
Just throwing that out there.
I trust my money with McCutchen more than I do with Brett Favre. He has a reputation of don't give this guy your money.
I get that.
Okay, so until McCutchen does something stupid like that, I'm going to trust what he says. So I guess we got to go to our break.
Yep.
You've been listening to 99.3 FM WBVP, 95.7 FM WNBA, and you're watching us on BeaverCountyRadio.com, Facebook Live. Be right back.
You're listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. A vote on a budget that would also raise the debt ceiling is expected this evening. A Republican presidential contender is among those opposing the debt limit deal struck between his party and the White House. Bob Agnew reports.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott says he's against the deal because it leaves open the possibility President Biden will unilaterally increase spending. A provision in the agreement hammered out between House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and the White House allows the president's director of the Office of Management and Budget to waive the agreed-upon spending limits for almost any reason. Senator Scott says he doesn't trust Biden to have what he calls an open checkbook, no limit on the credit card until the end of his term. Bob Agnew reporting.
Virginia's Glenn Youngkin is joining the list of Republican governors sending soldiers or other state law enforcement officers to the U.S. border with Mexico. Correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Youngkin announced he's responding to a request from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. The executive order directs the deployment of 100 Virginia National Guard soldiers and 21 support personnel to the southern border. Youngkin says leadership solutions at the federal level are falling short, leaving states to fill in the void. Virginia Democrats are criticizing the move as an abuse of state resources. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has named John Scott to temporarily serve as that state's Attorney General. The appointment Wednesday comes after the GOP-controlled Texas House of Representatives voted to impeach Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton over allegations of misconduct and crimes. Paxton awaits a Senate trial. Former Vice President Mike Pence will officially launch his widely expected campaign for the Republican nomination for president in Iowa next week, adding another candidate to the growing GOP field. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's Prager here. Sue and I mean it when we say dogs are part of our family, and there's nothing like their loyal companionship. So we provide them with Rough Greens, RUFF, because we want them to feel healthy and be with us as long as possible. I know Charlie Kirk feels the same way.
The Pragers and I couldn't agree more. I rely on my trusted furry friend, Mr. Briggs, who's an absolute machine, and he relies on me to provide what's best for him. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black has packed Rough Greens, not a dog food, but a supplement full of vitamins, minerals, digestive enzymes, and omega oils that Mr. Briggs absolutely needs and loves. Trying Rough Greens for your dog just makes sense.
Greetings, Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here. I'm honored that the Pragers and Charlie trust their dog's health to Rough Green. I'm so confident that Rough Green can help your dog too that I'm offering you a free Jumpstart trial bag. Just cover the shipping. Yes, dog food is dead food, but it doesn't have to be. Go to ruffgreens.com.
Should he win the White House again, former President Trump is promising to roll back a policy that he calls a magnet for illegal immigration.
That policy is birthright citizenship. Mr. Trump says he'll go about doing away with it on day one of his second term. The former president promises an executive order making clear to federal agencies that going forward, the future children of illegal aliens will not receive automatic U.S. citizenship. Mr. Trump made the announcement in a video posted to Breitbart. Rich Thomason reporting.
U.S. job openings rose unexpectedly in April, a sign the American labor market remains surprisingly resilient as the Federal Reserve pushes interest rates higher to combat inflation. Employers posted 10.1 million job openings last month, up from 9.7 in March. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. The U.S. government's Auto Safety Agency plans to require that all new passenger cars and light trucks include potentially life-saving automatic emergency braking and meet stricter safety standards within 3 years. At a news conference, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Chief Counsel Ann Carlson says the regulation proposed by NHTSA would make braking systems more effective at higher speeds and better at avoiding pedestrians.
It's going to require that these systems fully avoid other vehicles at up to 50 miles per hour when a driver fails to react. If a driver brakes some but not fully enough to avoid a collision, the system would have to avoid another vehicle, again, fully avoid the vehicle, at speeds up to 62 miles per hour.
NHTSA has been reluctant in the past to impose such regulations, saying the technology will change during the time it takes to enact new rules. More at townhall.com.
Hey, Peanuts!
Hey guys, welcome back to the Hey Peanut Sports Show. Brought to you by St. Barnabas here at 99.3 WBVP and 95.7 WNBA. Watch us on Beaver County Facebook Live, beavercountyradio.com. Please call in at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Love to hear what you think about our chat. That's what I like to call them, little chats. I enjoy this. I really do enjoy it. Before we get into more sports, been having a lot of meetings with TAMKO. TAMKO is one of our big sponsors on the show. They also are my supplier for roofing shingles. They are now producing the latest, best shingle on the market with the Titan XT. It's a 160-mile-an-hour wind warranty on it. Just give me a call, 412-969-1167. I'd love to come out to your house. I'll tell you all about it. Tell you how the warranty's the best, the shingle's the best, the availability for color's the best, and how fast and efficient we can do it without causing a big mess or a problem in your life. A lot of times our customers go to work when we show up, and when they come home, the roof is finished, and that's what you like to see when you get your roof done.
Yeah, you definitely did a job for my buddy. I recommended him to you, and he was like, they were in and out. Everything was cleaned up. He's like, I couldn't believe it.
Yes, we take pride in trying to do that part of the job well, because it's bad enough that you got to pay so much for a new roof because they're not exactly cheap. Ours are more affordable than the other guy, but just the same, it's an investment, and there's nothing worse than making a big investment and then having some guy drag his legs, not finish the job, or take forever, or change the contract, or we don't do any of that. When you sign the contract, that's the price. If it goes over, I eat it. So
that's very fair.
I've always been that way, and that's why we've been in business for almost 10 years. This will be 10 years coming up.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So anyhow, again, 412-969-1167. Please give us a call. I'd love to come out there and talk to you more about your roof. We do leak repairs. We do siding. We do a list of things that you wouldn't think we do, but we specialize in roofs. So anyhow, let's get back to sports. And before I forget, I want to give a big special thanks or congratulations to the Riverside baseball team.
Mm-hmm. Excellent job. Well done.
Dan Oliostro is really doing a good job with those kids out there, and
as he always is.
And it seems to be really paying off this year.
Their 6th WPIAL title.
They won 6-1 today.
6-1 today.
They won to the states. Is that right? When are they going?
I believe the state playoffs start either this weekend or early next week. I want to maybe say early next week, like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, it was a pitcher's duel today until the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the bats came around and they made things happen.
Well, what's interesting about this, they were talking about a little bit, is that what Riverside has and what a lot of these teams that make the finals have is something that a lot of teams don't, and some teams don't even need. And that is multiple pitchers.
Right.
Which at the high school level is not something you see all the time. You usually see maybe 1 or 2 pitchers go out there and start all of your games. It's like, oh, that's the good one. We'll just throw him out there. But after that, they just sort of blow things up and make things crazy.
Yeah, if you go, what did they go, 27-0 this season?
21-0.
Oh, I'm sorry, 21-0. I mean, you've got to have a bunch of arms if you're going to go 21-0. You can't have a weak link pitcher out there.
Yeah, and the fact that they even have anything resembling a closer or a relief pitcher is pretty phenomenal. It's not something you see all the time, and Hopewell's the same way too.
Correct.
So we got a caller.
We have a caller.
Yes,
awesome.
we do.
All right. Who are we talking to?
Good evening. You're on the Hey Peanut Sports Show.
Yes, good evening. You're talking to Joel Del Rosario.
Joel, what a great pleasure.
How's it
All
going,
right, so
Joel?
you guys that don't know, Joel works with me. He's also a baseball tutor. Is that what we call you, Joel? A tutor in baseball? He trains the young college and high school minds to be better at baseball. He's also an alumni at Point Park University. He was the catcher there.
You were the catcher.
Are you
yes,
there?
African being as a catcher there. Obviously, with some injuries, that became to be a first baseman and turned out to be an all-conference first baseman out of an injury.
Yeah,
That's
well
great.
done.
So it was an interesting journey for sure.
Well, I love that you're our first caller. That means a lot to
Yeah.
me. So you guys need to tune in. Brian's going on vacation in July.
Yes.
So Joel will be my guest. He's gonna
I'd
fill
like to
your
call him
chair.
my pinch hitter.
And
There you go.
that show we're going to talk about Dominican, because you're from the Dominican Republic, and
Yep.
you have a lot of insight. A lot of baseball players are from Dominica, and we're going to have a whole show talking about what it's like to grow up in the Dominica and have baseball on your resume, and what it's like to come to America and see those dreams come true. Because you are definitely a success story, in my opinion. So I'd love for everybody else to hear that story.
Appreciate this, and actually, I'm very excited to pinch hit for Brian and be able to share that information, and hopefully we get some callers.
I couldn't think of a better
Good
person than you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I know you were teaching tonight, but did you see the highlights? Did you get to see anything about tonight's game? I know you're a Pirates fan of late.
Very little of it. I did get a chance to see the box score and see a little bit of how the runs were scored. And normally tonight when I get home and relax is when I get to watch the whole highlight and trying to get myself the information on how it went. It's not the same when you read it and when you actually see it. So definitely will look at my highlights later on. But here we are, half a game from first base, from first place, aren't we?
Right. And so, I mean, we were talking before you called. We were talking, and I want to get your input on this. Should we be excited because we don't suck as bad as everybody else? Or we should just still be what realistically is, we still suck?
Well, listen, here's the way I look at it. The division that the Pirates are in currently, it's basically you got to win your division to make it.
Correct.
And if we're sitting here at a half a game, possibly tied for first, 2 months into the season, we're talking about now we're into a third of this thing. Of course, you got to be excited about it because sometimes it just takes one thing to click to make another run like they did at the beginning of the year. I mean, that was a very I got to admit that I don't think anybody was expecting that to happen. So many games so quickly. But it's baseball, man. That it's a matter of, like you said, Neil Cruz come in and spark something, and then you catch fire again, and you just got to win your division. So there's absolutely no reason to think that we're thinking, in La La Land right now. We could be in first place at the end of the day.
I agree with you. I'm on the positive side of it. It's real easy to look at. We have some batters that can't hit. We have some pitchers that can't pitch. But then at the end of the day, I'm walking around like nothing can go wrong because my team looks like they got a chance. And they're doing well. They're, like you said, at the end of the day today, they're playing Toronto. I don't know. I know I always have a time saying Guerrero Jr., right?
Guerrero.
He's big Guerrero. Right. Vladi.
Yeah.
Is that right? Vladi?
Boy, could he swing the bat.
Right. So he's a big Dominican player.
Yes, he is.
Right. So I know that you.
Definitely got a
What
lot
do you
out of-
think
out
the
of his
Brewers?
dad.
What are the Brewers' chances tonight against the Toronto?
I think just as little as our chances were when the Pirates played. You know?
That's what I think too. I just think that there's not the American League is so lopsided. Do you think? Can I ask you a real quick question? Do you think they're going to try and mix this up? There's been some scuttlebutt about, and this year is a prime example. You're going to have American League with really good teams that are not going to make the playoffs because they're in the American League, and then you're going to have National League teams that make the playoffs that probably not going to be as good as, say, a Toronto or a Red Sox or some of these teams that are going to have winning records, but they're just not as good as Tampa Bay, or they're not as good as some of these front runners because you got to win your division. Only one out of the division wins in the American League East. All 5 of those teams are probably going to be better than the worst team that makes the playoffs in the NL. Is that going to cause, I guess to my point is that going to cause the league to try and restructure, and now all of a sudden we're not going to have National League and American League? It's just going to be Major League Baseball, and they're going to try and do it. Like what I hear is everybody's going to be associated close to where, similar to where the travel's not so bad. You're going to be a whole new recreation of how they do it and structure. And the reason why is because I think what's going to happen this year with this lopsided leagues.
And and here's 2 things that happen. 2 points to that. You have the wild card, and you have that play-in game, and the way that this thing is structured, you can have the second best team in the league not even make it to the actual tournament, just because they happen to be in the same division as the best team in the league.
Correct.
And they had a bad day, or they ran into a hot Pirates team that barely made it, and here they're out of the tournament all of a sudden. And to your point, Scott, I believe that this is actually something that Major League has already been addressing and talking about. And I don't know this as a fact. Obviously, I don't work for the Major League Baseball, but I do have good friends that work within the league, scouts and whatnot from my past, and they're actually really considering doing that, regionalize the league and make it one whole league where there's less travel for teams.
I feel like they already had this planned, and now like they just kind of easing this in because National League didn't have a designated hitter until last year, and now they're really kind of making all the rules the same for both leagues, and they're just kind of easing you into the moment that they're going to go, okay, you've lost a little bit of your tradition, Phil. Let's restructure this. It makes sense.
I have a follow-up question for you, Joel. How would that work with cities that have multiple teams, though, with like the Chicagos and the New Yorks and the LAs?
Well, I'll answer your question before this point. I think that the restructure is more because of financials than it is what's going on with the game itself. They're trying to make money, and they want to make sure that New York can play New York and the stadiums are full every single game because you can have people from both teams. Because people can actually travel to these games. For let's say for the Pittsburgh Pirates to go see a game in Cincinnati, it's a very difficult drive. You can't just out of the limb go drive over there and do it. Now, to your question, Brian, I believe those teams that have teams in the same city will be in the same division. And that is the key to that whole restructure, is to have teams as close to each other as possible so the divisional games are within an hour or 2 drive.
Right.
It won't happen all throughout the league because you have, for example, the San Francisco, San Diego, and then you have to throw, let's say, an Arizona into the mix, or Seattle into the mix with a Milwaukee or something. Not every division is going to work that way, but for example, in your say Chicago, New York, all those teams will be in the same division, so people can actually load up the stadiums every day.
Now that would be a huge rivalry. I mean, the Mets and the Yankees. If they're in the same division now, that talk about rivalry and hatred.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I think
you'd have 3 Subway Series a year
because there is already rivalries that exist. Like like the Red Sox and Yankees rivalry. That's not going to go away because they're probably going to end up in the same division.
Mm-hmm.
You actually get the San Diego and LA. They'll be in the same division. Those are already existing rivalries. But then you start taking there's an untold rivalry of Cardinals and Red Sox, for example. That goes because these teams have been around for so long, and success for so long. When these 2 teams face each other, fans are absolutely nuts about it. We just don't know it because the media don't bring it up. But you go to one of these games, and it's absolutely insane. Those teams won't see each other much because of distance, but now there is a one unified league. So obviously, like anything else, they'll take time to try to figure this thing out to make sense, but taking away the travel is going to add up a lot to the league, in my opinion. I'm a fan of it. I think that's a great thing. especially with all the new upcoming young fans. You want to attract the new fans so you can keep making money.
I think you're absolutely right. To try to show interest, to try to keep the traditionalists like myself around is not as profitable as getting interest from young fans, and they're not traditionalists, and they'd probably be excited about change. The change this year, you can't really deny how good it is. The only problem with that I've found with the pitch clock change is that you can't go get a beer between innings. There's no way. You're not getting back. You're missing 2 innings.
Yep.
You got to sit in your chair for the whole game, or you'll miss some of the game. There's none of that.
I have 2 more questions for you, Joel.
Yeah.
One, what is the population of the Dominican? Approximately.
The Dominican Republic is near 10 million people.
And what percentage of the Major League Baseball players are from the Dominican?
30-something%.
I don't know what the number is as in today, just because there's so many guys that be brought up and down and whatnot. But you're looking at probably around 100 to 125 players in the major leagues established currently in the league.
That's what we did. We looked that up that one day.
Yep.
I totally did look that up. We have a lot. What was the team? Tampa Bay was the first team to start a fully Dominican team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
And Tampa Bay's in first place and looks like the best team. So,
So when you're on the show in July, Joel, are you going to share with, I guess, how baseball is ran down there and how they're producing such great players?
Yes, I will absolutely love to, and I have a great insight. My best friend from college, he currently is a international director of scouts for one of the Major League Baseball teams. So I get to talk to him a lot and share some of the things that have changed since I played, because I obviously haven't been in that world in quite a few years, but I'm still involved in it in the sense of the conversations and people that are still involved in the game, that, I'll have a little bit of an insight that hopefully people would enjoy to hear the other side of what it is to be a Dominican / all those small countries baseball players, because the reality is pretty similar.
Well, we don't really care what everybody else thinks. I want to know. Brian wants to know. Matt wants to know. And
I'm sure the listeners definitely want to know.
I think they do. But that's
all right. I will be there.
I'm totally looking forward
for having
to
me
it
today, guys. I'm glad to be now. I consider the first caller of this amazing show.
We're going to expect you to do it every Wednesday. I know you got off early today, though. Joel, for you listeners, is a workaholic. He works for me during the day, and then he teaches baseball at night. Then he goes and plays softball. He does tournaments every weekend. And then when he didn't have a tournament, tell him what you did, Joel, last weekend.
Well,
tell me what you did.
I finally got a free weekend with no tournament and no schedule. So we went down to a camping site up in Ohio, south in Pennsylvania, and we went boating the first day. Then we biked for 25 miles all the way to Ohio Pile and back.
No wonder you're 10 times as fit as I am.
I would have to train, I think, for the 25-mile bike. And in my free time, I have nothing to do. Let's just go ride a bike for 25 miles across 2 states. But you're just an amazing fella, and I'm really glad I know you. And I'll let you get to your cigar. I really appreciate you calling in, and we'll.
Yeah, I'm about to light it up. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you guys soon.
All right, thanks, Joel.
Thanks, Joel.
All righty.
What a great caller.
Yeah.
My pinch hitter, he's going to I'm not going to have a job the next week.
He can jack it.
You're going to be Wally pipped.
He shows me videos of him. He went to Vegas in a softball tournament where it's like a random draw. You don't know what team you're going to be on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they won. This was last year. They won the whole thing off his dinger. And I saw a video of him hitting a home run. And it was late, I guess. It was dark. The ball just disappeared in the night.
Wow.
And
so I assume that's what he's a batting coach, or does he also do fielding?
Pitching, fielding, batting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I knew he did batting. Nice.
Sounds like a good dude. I'm looking forward to that show.
You haven't met Joel?
No, not yet.
I had him down here.
I just met you guys like 2 months ago.
And he's regretting it ever since.
I didn't say that.
I had him down here.
It was applied.
Your words, not mine.
We had food at the Jus1More Sports Bar last time I was there. I thought you had met him that day. Speaking of the Jus1More Sports Bar, right?
Yeah.
Tonight's cannoli. No, not cannoli.
Take the gun, leave the cannoli?
No. Why am I
Calzone.
Calzone.
It is calzone night. Tomorrow is wing day.
I'm so Irish right now. Not Italian. But no, the calzones are great. I had the nachos today. You had the buffalo flatbread. Everything was really
delicious.
good. Tomorrow night's wing night, 42 flavors. They did not give us a Saturday night person, but somebody's playing. That's what I was told. So you want some live entertainment, go down to the Jus1More Sports Bar here in Beaver Falls. And we'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit about some other sports when we come back. NBA. I think Brian has to ask Matt a question. You're full of questions tonight, by the way.
Oh, I definitely have a question for Matt when we come back.
Okay. We'll be right back. Thanks, guys.
TEK Roofing Specialist are known for quality, honesty, and efficiency. You can reach them at 412-969-1167. Whether it's a small leak or a new roof, TEK Roofing Specialist will fix the problem. Check out TEK Roofing on Facebook to see quality work they've done. TEK Roofing uses only the best products like TAMKO's Titan XT Premium Shingles with a 160-mile-per-hour wind warranty. That's TEK Roofing Specialist, 412-969-1167. Insured, licensed, and certified.
Navigating healthcare can be overwhelming. Heritage Valley is changing that perspective. Our medical neighborhoods provide the personal care you need right where you live and work. Access specialty physicians, lab and diagnostic imaging, rehab, and more in the heart of your community. With 7 convenient locations, we have a medical neighborhood in yours. Heritage Valley, uniquely connected for life.
Tune in to Beaver County Radio, Sunday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. for Scott Paulson's Radio Stella. Radio Stella is presented by Fry Transportation and is all about the history of rock and roll. Scott is armed with thousands of songs and useless rock and roll trivia that he has put together to bring you 2 hours of jams every Sunday night that you may never forget. Radio Stella is also being brought to you in part by Pittsburgh Guitar. So tune in Radio Stella with Scott Paulson every Sunday night from 7 to 9 here on Beaver County Radio.
Hey, Peanuts!
Hey, guys. Welcome back to the Hey Peanut Sports Show, brought to you by St. Barnabas here at 99.3 FM WBVP and 95.7 FM WNBA, BeaverCountyRadio.com, and Facebook Live. When we left, there was an important question.
It's been driving me up a wall.
Okay. I think it has something to do with travel, but we're going to find out. Brian, unfortunately, has to travel.
I'm slightly scared about what you're about to ask.
He travels from Finleyville area, South Hills, somewhere down there.
But now my dad's from New Brighton, so I've been coming down this way a lot.
Well, it's not, I didn't say you were lost,
but
I was saying that you just have to do the commute.
Right.
And so this has something to do about the commute, and we're just dying to know what this is.
Yeah, I don't want the listeners to think I'm some like Washington County sellout here up in Beaver Falls. So I come in on 376, and I get off the Chippewa exit. And you come to the light, and you can make the left to go to Chippewa. And the sign, Matt, it says Beaver Falls to the left. But I make the right to come to downtown Beaver Falls. What's to the left of Beaver Falls?
Okay, I think I can explain that one to you. It's more of a PennDOT directional thing, because obviously most people, if they're going to downtown Beaver Falls, they'll go 51 over 8th Street Hill.
I go on School Street. I take a little shortcut, and then down. What's the big hill I go down?
I think it's 11th Street Hill coming this way.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone knows that one, but that is. All that area is not sanctioned by PennDOT. So what happens is why they point Beaver Falls in the other direction is that you go up 51, cut on to 588, which is PennDOT, that will take you to Beaver Falls as well. Take you down Stephen Hill right into the city on the other side.
Should I just try this way next week just to see?
It's probably quick. That's the way I go.
It could be. I will say, though, I've seen signs for construction on that particular road, so I wouldn't do that.
All right, so unless I'm like super early, don't even think about it.
No, although it may be late enough where they could just be wrapping up, so you could try
I'm just curious because, I mean, I only have 2 more chances
that's true.
To come to this studio.
I'm deflated. That was not the question I was thinking it was going to be. I thought
I was thinking it was like, is he see a sign for like some sort of like, scandalous situation going on?
No, I was just completely confused because I'm like, I want to go to Beaver Falls, but the sign's telling me I'm going the wrong way, but I jump on 51 real quick. And
I think you just go right under 376, right? And then there's a sign that says Beaver Falls, take a right, and then you go around there. And then,
yeah.
That sounds like PennDOT, though, their directions. Like, don't go the quickest way possible.
It's the bumpiest road, so that makes sense.
Is that why they're doing construction?
It could be. It could be why they're doing construction.
For years, I've never seen it. They just fill the pothole. It's just like it's a series of pothole fills.
Well, that's true too.
Right.
But yeah, I
do love that area though. Chippewa's nice.
It is.
I do like it.
I visited the Get-Go's plenty of times to get gas on the way home. Beautiful Get-Go.
They have everything nice up there.
Yeah,
they do.
Except for an Olive Garden. Please stop asking about that. It's never coming. Just
no.
Give up. Give up. Give up all hope.
Right, but they have a Dunkin' Donuts. They have an Applebee's. They got a Walmart. They got I like the pet food store up there. It's pretty cool. You can wash your dog in there.
I get my food at Get-Go.
So,
cool.
You just walk your dog in. You wash the dog.
Somebody from Get-Go, if you're listening, we need another sponsor here. But you know what's been depressing too? I come down into Beaver Falls and I usually stop at Jus1More Sports Bar to have a sandwich before the show, and I have not seen Batman in like over a month.
Either.
Does anybody know what's going on with Batman?
I don't know. Maybe he's filming the next movie out in Hollywood.
Is it Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, and then the Beaver Falls Batman?
I guess so.
He might be in the sequel.
I would pay top dollar.
I
would pay top dollar.
Right. They'll be selling Levi Jeans Batman edition. Next thing you know, here in Beaver Falls.
Oh, jeez. Anyway.
Well, Batman, we miss you.
Anyway. I think he's still around. We're just missing him.
Must be.
Right. It's that it's hot.
I don't know. Ever since that Beaver Falls sign got vandalized, I haven't seen him. So maybe he's finding the
they took it down, didn't they? It's a
No, it's still
waterfall now.
up.
the waterfall still goes, but the Beaver Falls part, I think like one of the L's was broke or something, but I think that's not on there anymore.
They took it all down. The falls is gone. It's just a waterfall right now. Maybe they're fixing it and they're going to put it
They're
back
probably
up.
fixing it. They wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't like a one-time thing where it's just like, 2 weeks, here's a sign. No, that's not how signs work.
And the rumor I got, because I asked about that, the rumor I got was it wasn't vandalized. It was a drunken accident. Like somebody was drunk and they fell into it. And they had it on camera, and it was a guy just walking out. He wasn't trying to vandalize it. But that's just the word. I don't know.
I don't know.
So
Interesting. Batman, look into that.
Right. We're not vandals in Beaver Falls. We're just drunk. That makes more sense.
However it happened.
Right.
In case you guys are wondering, these two do not live here.
I
They live in
do.
a real store. Well, you live in like Elwood area.
Elwood City. If you can,
It's
I can
not
walk.
the same.
I can walk home from here. I
Oh.
wouldn't want to, but I could.
What, like
I've
Rooker?
walked farther.
Like Jim Rooker when he walked home from Philadelphia when the
No.
Pirates were up.
Oh yeah.
The Pirates are up 10-0. Hold on. So Jamie Rooker, his daughter, was a grade behind me in high school, and we would tease her. She was such a sweet girl, great, wonderful person. We just kind of teased her. But like, I guess what was it in the '80s? The Pirates were up 10, and Rooker was announcing, and he said, "If the Pirates lose, I'll walk home." And they end up losing 11-10. So he and the Pirate Parrot teamed up and walked from Philadelphia back to Pittsburgh and did some huge fundraiser for it. So we would always tease her, like,
That's a great story. I didn't know that story.
Yeah.
When was this?
I want to say it was 89. I want to say,
Yeah.
because there's a video. There's a full I want to say 40-minute video that Secret Base did about that very game you're talking about, where they, were up. They not only were they up 10-0, they were up 10-0 after the first inning. and they lost. And you said the final score was 11-10. It was actually 15-11.
Okay.
Okay.
I made that last part up, I guess.
Well,
I just
the
knew they
story
lost.
still stands solid.
So they lost 15-11.
Yeah.
When being up 10-0. That's like a softball score.
Yeah, that was 1989. And he walked all the way from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh.
That was before Forrest Gump movie came out, so he's like he was
the inspiration for it.
We didn't run
the
from
original
Philadelphia
Forrest
to Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's right. I guess he was running.
Yeah,
right, he wasn't walking.
Could you imagine running from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh?
No,
I couldn't imagine running from here to Jus1More Sports Bar.
I couldn't imagine running from Philadelphia to Philadelphia. That's too much.
Right.
I hate running after my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, my running days are over. I would say the late 90s were my running days were over.
Whoever Forrest Gump stunt double was, bless you.
Yeah, speaking of, he got me today texting because I asked him, "Are you okay?" Because normally we talk a little bit. Are you okay? I asked him, and he sent me a message back. My legs are fine, but my back's crookeder than a question mark.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there and I'm talking, and I was with Joel, and I'm like, "What's up with what's this, Brian? I mean, what's this, Joel? Crookeder?" Because we both know Brian. That's not a word. Why does he say this? So I said, "What? What happened?" Because I thought maybe he was in a wreck, and Joel's like, maybe he's high on some painkillers. He was in a wreck because his back's crooked and his legs are still working. And we didn't know what was going on. And then he said, "It's a line from Forrest Gump." And then I still didn't get it until he was like, "Oh," then he had to repeat the line.
Right, yeah.
It's a famous line from
when
the movie.
when it was young Jenny and young Forrest, and he had those big metal things attached to his legs, and she said, "What's wrong with your legs?" And he says something to the effect of, "My legs are just fine and dandy, but my back's crookeder than a question mark." So I was fine. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes. You totally threw me off, though, because I like, "Are you okay?" And then my legs are fine, but my back's crookeder than a question mark. I'm thinking you were in a wreck or something, or you fell off the ladder or something. You totally got me on that one.
Yeah, sorry about
I'm glad you didn't get hurt.
Me
I'm
too.
glad you're fine, and I'm glad it was just a Forrest Gump joke. I'm sure there's many in there that you could tell, but let's just refrain from Forrest Gump jokes. So they make me laugh. That's one of my favorite movies.
That's a classic.
Right. So let's switch it up. We got a little time to keep going into the next little subject here.
Got a little time.
I think so. So
we talk about some hockey finals.
I think we should do hockey before basketball.
Yeah.
I totally
I think
do.
we don't have that much time.
Yeah, we got about 23 minutes left in the show.
Okay. So,
that makes sense.
We have the team that just edged out the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Panthers, the Florida Panthers.
Which is now the favorite if you go to Vegas.
Are they?
Yeah.
Everybody I see keeps picking the Golden Knights in 6.
The Golden Knights are the better team, but the Panthers, the thing with the Panthers is they're coming in, after a 4-game sweep, so they got so much rest.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Boston.
I mean, they beat Boston.
They beat the team that everybody thought was going to just walk away with it because they just so close to setting the record, and then they beat them pretty good.
They beat 2 division winners, including the President's Trophy winner, and then they beat Toronto in the middle, and Toronto, I think, had the most points they've ever had in franchise history.
And for some reason, they're not playing until Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a big layoff. Do we think that that'll affect Bobrovsky, who right now, if Florida wins, he's probably going to win the Conn Smythe Trophy, I would assume.
I would think.
I don't know about that. I honestly don't.
You don't?
It would depend on how the finals go.
Okay.
Because I think if Bobrovsky, shuts down Vegas and, they hold him to, I don't know, 7-8 goals all series long, then you can make a case for Bobrovsky. But right now, I think Matthew Tkachuk that's his to win or lose.
Okay.
Because he's been the stalwart of that offense for the Panthers. I think he had 3 game winners in the series against Carolina. If he keeps putting up offensive numbers like that, the trophy's his. I love Bobrovsky. I was a fan of his in Columbus. I just don't see how Matthew Tkachuk loses his trophy if the Panthers win the cup. I don't.
So what do we?
I think this is the second time though, Vegas has went to the Stanley Cup, right?
And
they lost.
And the second time for Florida too.
Second time for Florida.
Yeah, Vegas lost in 2018 to the Washington Capitals, and I thought for sure Fleury was going to shut down the Capitals for the umpteenth time, and it just didn't happen.
Nope.
They didn't have enough.
Right.
Unfortunately, Ovechkin got the best of them.
Now, and the Panthers was the year of the rat. It goes way back.
Yep.
It was the year of the rat. Do you know about the year of the rat?
I don't know. I know they throw a bunch of rats on the ice, but I don't know why.
Oh, what's the player's name? Give me the player's name, and I'll tell the story. I can't remember his
I
name.
believe it was, I want to say it was Scott Mellenby.
Mellenby. That's exactly who it was.
Yeah.
So, beginning of the year. No, was the beginning of the year? It was the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And they were in their new stadium, and a rat came running out in the middle of the locker room, and he had his stick in his hand. He squared up and knocked it like
Scored the game winner.
No, he
killed it.
They're still in the locker room.
He just
He takes the rat and he just blasts the rat against the wall and kills it, and then scores 2 goals that night after the fact. So that became an urban legend that this Panthers team that was, I think, is like in its 4th year of existence in '96. All of a sudden, they get hot. They get the playoffs, and the celebration was every time they scored a goal, the rats would come down on the ice.
Tons of them. I saw some videos of it. It was insane. That they had. I saw the one thing. It was 35 people were employed to clean up the rats at every game. They had 35 people there with boxes to go out on the ice and pick the rats up.
How did the people obtain the rats to begin with? Obviously, they're not real. But
no, they were just they actually said, like in the little documentary I saw about it, some of them were live,
some of them
were dead, or like real rats that were dead, and then some of them were live.
It's gross, isn't it?
And then some of them were rubber, and so
I'm glad the Penguins don't have that.
Well, it's funny.
Unfortunately, this year is not the year of the rat in the Chinese year. It is the year of the. Help me out here. Goat?
Could be the year of goat. But the thing is, too, even if it was the year of the rat, because of what they did that year in '96, the NHL actually made a rule regarding throwing things on the ice that if they do that to the point where it just completely shuts the game down, it's a penalty. It's a delay of game penalty assessed to the team because the fans threw so much stuff on the ice.
Now,
Nashville gets hit with that with throwing the catfish.
Yeah,
but
that's why
that's happened a couple times.
That's why they do that pregame.
Now they do a pregame, but they were. I've been to like the Nashville games in regular season where someone threw a catfish after a goal, and they said, "Oh, it's delayed," and they gave them a penalty on the next. Like it's a 4-man, right? It's like you lose a man on the net right after the goal. You're already on a power play just because someone threw a catfish on the ice.
What about when somebody does a hat trick? Is that like a different? They don't care about that.
That's different.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be more organic because
right, but should be celebrated.
But the rats thing was just so out of hand, and it's funny you mentioned the Penguins in that because '96, if the Panthers don't do what they do, the Penguins, I don't know if they win the cup that year, they at least make it because they went to the conference finals. They had 3 players who scored 100 points for them: Francis, Yager, and Lemieux.
Mm-hmm.
Lemieux, I think, had 161 points that year. Yager had 149. They should have steamrolled their way into the finals, and they come up short to the rat-throwing Panthers.
And what Yager went to play for the Panthers in the end, right?
He
did. He eventually go play for the Panthers?
Yeah, some 17 years later.
That's where he got the Iron Man kind of reputation, playing for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a lot of goals, right? Like
second most in NHL history.
Right. Next to Bobby Orr? No.
Or actually, no, Yager's third now because
Ovechkin is the great one. Who has the most? Gretzky?
Gretzky, yeah. Gretzky has 892.
Right.
So, yeah. Dude was impressive. But, yeah, the Panthers, they throw rats on the ice. But they're still looking for their first ever win in the finals because they got swept in '96.
Well, for those listening, it's the Chinese Year of the Rabbit. So that tells me, I guess, if you're going to look into a hidden message there, I think whoever team is the fastest here is the one that's going to win. Whether it's the rat team or the night team. Or
if the Knights start throwing rabbits on the ice, I'm going to blame you. You do know that, right?
Especially live ones.
Well, if they're listening in Vegas, I'm sure they could, There's lots of rabbit feet in Vegas. You been to Vegas?
No, but I know what you mean with rabbit feet.
Well, there used to be a thing, like in all the
Lucky
truck stops, you could get a rabbit's foot on a keychain. And they're a hot item in Vegas because everybody wants a lucky rabbit's foot when you're out gambling.
Maybe
right?
you've answered your own question. Maybe just Vegas is going to take it.
Maybe Vegas is going to take it. I'm neither here or there. on either one of these teams, other than I like it's going to go somewhere new.
I'll agree to that. That'll be nice.
Right. And just because Florida seems to be holding all these Stanley Cups 4 years in a row, right? This event's taking place in Florida.
Yeah.
Right? So I say Vegas should get it. Vegas doesn't have a championship of any kind yet. It's kind of similar to Nashville. So I'd like to see Vegas win it. So if I was going to pull for somebody, I'd pull for Vegas. And even though Flower's not there anymore. He was probably my favorite Penguin. We got one more break here.
Yep. We're going to come back.
And then we're going to come back.
Talk about the other final.
Well, you've been listening to the Hey Peanut Sports Show, brought to you by TAMKO and TEK Roofing, here on 99.3 FM WBVP, 95.7 FM WNBA, Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, also brought to you by St. Barnabas. We'll be right back.
TEK Roofing Specialist are known for quality, honesty, and efficiency. You can reach them at 412-969-1167. Whether it's a small leak or a new roof, TEK Roofing Specialist will fix the problem. Check out TEK Roofing on Facebook to see quality work they've done. TEK Roofing uses only the best products like TAMKO's Titan XT Premium Shingles with a 160-mile-per-hour wind warranty. That's TEK Roofing Specialist, 412-969-1167. Insured, licensed, and certified.
Tune in to Teleforum with Eddie Crow, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, right here on Beaver County Radio. Eddie has a unique outlook on things, and we'll be discussing the issues that are important to the people of Beaver County. Eddie will also have monthly guests, along with other special guests. Curtis Walsh will have news at the top and bottom of the hour, so make sure you tune in to Teleforum with Eddie Crow, weekdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on 1230 WBVP. 1460 WMBA, 99.3 and 95.7 FM, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit BeaverCountyRadio.com.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge, broadcasting live from the St. Barnabas studios.
Hey, Peanuts!
Hey guys, welcome back to the Hey Peanut Sports Show, brought to you by TAMKO Building Supplies, TEK Roofing Specialist, 412-969-1167. Give me a call. Let me come out, tell you all the good things that we have to offer. Also brought to you by the Jus1More Sports Bar. Go down there this evening, get your calzone. Go tomorrow, get your 42 different flavors of wings. All their food's good.
Even the cannoli.
Even the cannoli. I don't know if they have cannoli. That's
now everybody should get in there asking for the cannoli.
You know,
I heard on the radio you got cannolis in there.
I'm in so much trouble.
You never know. It could work for them.
They might. Hey, it's getting hot. Isn't cannoli an ice cream dish?
Kind of. More like a cookie.
Yeah, it's like a bakery item.
I thought it was filled with ice cream.
Not really. It's kind of like a smooth cream.
I'm so Irish. I don't know. So, we got peppermint candy. That's what we were.
Well, you know what isn't Irish? The NBA Finals. The Celtics got knocked out.
They did. They had their chance.
Way to plug that. I love that plug. You thought that one all by yourself.
Yeah, 10 years you think I know something about transitions.
You think so?
I think they only had a 3-leaf clover. They
The
didn't have the
Celtics
fourth.
did not know anything about transition, especially the ball from one end of the court to the other.
No.
That's why they lost the game, for sure. They couldn't run.
They almost did it. They almost pulled the first reverse sweep in NBA history.
Tatum got hurt 16 seconds into the game, and I think that was a big – I mean, they still hung in there, but he got hurt, and they took a lead right there at the beginning of that game. And it was kind of catch up the rest of the way. They got it within 7, I think, at one point, but it was – it ended up being like a 20-something point loss for them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I think
they were
the Heat was the
terrible
better
from the three.
team. To me, I was watching all those games. The Heat was the better team, even when they lost.
Well, how about the Game 6 ending?
Oh, yeah.
Game 6, down 2, Jimmy Butler does a step back, gets hammered, and I'm like, oh, Jimmy's swishing all 3 of these. Of course, Jimmy buckets, swish, swish, swish. They're up 1. Now, I don't know how many seconds were left. Well, they put, I think, 3 on the clock.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Celtics called timeout to advance the ball, and the inbounder passes. The defender responsible to cover the inbounder denies Tatum the ball on a pass, so they pass it somewhere else. The guy goes up, shoots the 3, in and out.
Right? Smart shot the 3.
Uh-huh.
White got the rebound.
And White hustled the inbounder, 3 seconds, passed the ball from the sideline, ran, got the rebound, and put it back in under 3 seconds.
It was crazy. I think if and they really had to review it. I think if they didn't have that red light on the back that says time's out, and it was just based on like back in the day.
Yeah, like
wait
how
for a
long is 3
buzzer,
seconds?
That shot wouldn't have counted. They really needed that replay light, and boy, that was close and exciting. It was exciting. It was strange that both those last 2 games were so dramatic for the teams and the fans. It was like a disappointment. Game 6 was a disappointment in Miami, and Game 7 was a disappointment in Boston. So, is that how that went?
Yep.
Yeah, that's how that went.
So now the Heat advance to play the Denver Nuggets. I don't know. I'm the hugest Jimmy Butler fan, but the size and shooting of the Denver Nuggets, I think, is just going to be too much. You know, you've got Jokic at 6'11", Gordon 6'8", Porter Jr., and I'm not talking about Joey Porter. I'm talking about Michael Porter Jr.
Right.
6'10". I just don't know who's covering those 3 guys. Obviously, Adebayo, who's only 6'9", is probably going to cover Jokic, but then when they go to the switch, who's going to switch on to Jokic? I mean, this
is going to be to me. I think it's a hustle game. If Miami comes out and they are moving the ball, fast transition,
they got a rebound to do that though.
They got a rebound transition. You got to move the ball. You got to steal the ball. I don't know if it's rebound. You got to steal it. You got to cut off passing lanes. You got to hustle. You got to be 5 little Steve Nashes with a little bit of John Stockton, and then. And you got to make your shots go down. And if they do that, I don't see how the Heat could lose. But like you said, it's when you do the math, how do you beat this team that is structurally sound, fundamentally sound, and they have a height advantage?
Right, and you got Jamal Murray. I mean,
he's the best shooter in the finals. He's the best shooter. I mean, I like Jimmy Butler, but the best shooter, is on the Nuggets.
They might have the best 3 shooters. Although Martin for the Heat's he was lights out in Game 7. He was making everything. Absolutely went lights out. But yeah, I don't know who Butler's going to cover. If he's going to cover Jamal Murray. I watched a replay today when they played in the regular season. He actually covered Porter, but Jamal Murray was hurt, I think, that game. So I don't know. You know, Butler's the best defender, I think, playing. So I don't know who's going to cover, or if they'll just play zone.
He came up hobbly too in Game 7.
He did.
So that could, maybe it makes a factor, maybe it doesn't. They play tomorrow night. They did not take the hockey break.
Right.
So they go right into it. Now, Denver's had a long break because they swept your beloved Lakers.
Wait, who was on the Lakers that they swept?
LeBron James.
I'd love to hear that. It's music to my ears.
Yeah. I think he's not going to retire now.
Oh, good Lord.
That made 3rd page. It was 1st page news he was going to retire the next day, and then.
I got to make another Brett Favre reference.
You can.
Go for it.
It's kind of how it's starting to feel a little bit with LeBron. Like he could say, I'll play one more year. I may not play one more year. But LeBron, if you're listening, and I know you're not, but if you are, you're right. You never know. Don't do the Brett Favre thing. If you're going to retire, retire. If not, go ahead.
Yeah, you want to play with your son, play with your son. I get that. I mean, that's totally cool.
I don't like either one of the ways they retire nowadays. I mean, all respect due to Kobe Bryant. No disrespect intended at all. But I just can't stand when they go, I'm going to retire at the end of this year, at the beginning of the season, and so that everywhere I go, it's the last time I'm shooting the basketball here. It's the last time I'm playing here. It's the last time. The last time you get an opportunity to see me play is this year. And so it sells them. And the Lakers stunk the whole year. It was a terrible year to be a Lakers fan, but it was a great year to be a Kobe fan because you get to see him play his last. It'd be like John Elway. You get to play one more year, and we don't care if you win or not. And if he had done that, he wouldn't have walked off into the sunset. So I don't like it when they do that, and I don't like when they say, I might retire and I might not. I just play your game, and then if you're going to retire, just announce you're going to retire, that you want to retire in the offseason like they always did.
Well,
I don't understand why they do this other than to build their own personal brand.
Well, that's what it's all about these days. But back in 98, I want to say Michael Jordan, everybody just assumed he was going to be retiring because he says he's not playing for a different coach. They're not hiring Phil Jackson back. And I want to say they played Atlanta. And did they play at their football stadium? I think it's like the most tickets sold ever to an NBA game because everybody from Atlanta wanted to see Michael Jordan one last time.
You mean at the Georgia Dome? Or
they did not play at their arena. They played at their football stadium, I believe. We could look that up.
Yeah, the Omni.
But it's like
back then it would have been the Omni,
highest,
right? It wouldn't have been the Georgia Dome is. Yeah, that's it. It's the Georgia Dome back then. Now they have the Mercedes building. It's the $1 billion building.
Right. We got Matt on the job over here.
Yeah, because I had not even heard about that. That's.
I didn't know that either. I thought he won the championship.
Yes, the Last Dance.
All right, so you're talking about the last regular season game against the Hawks.
I don't know if it was yes, it was the most watched or most attended NBA basketball game. I don't know if the record's been broke since. It may have been.
Yeah, they played. I think it was like March 28th, 1998 is what I'm looking at, and they played at the Georgia Dome, and they sold 62,000 seats for that game.
Right.
For an NBA game, which is absurd.
Right. That's like selling out Heinz Field.
That's
close. Before they put in all the extra seating.
Oh yeah, that's true.
University of Tennessee sells more tickets to watch them play Tennessee Tech than that. So I mean, it doesn't impress me. 62,000 people watch a basketball. I guess you're sitting so far back, it's kind of hard to see the game, and that's why they don't have so many people at the game.
So they're in the Hey Peanuts section, right?
Right.
Right, and you're watching Michael Jordan, and you're yelling, "That's a carry! That's a carry!" Meanwhile, you don't even know if it's Michael Jordan.
Right. True. So I guess I can understand that. I mean, I've been to some football games too in the nosebleeds, and
that's kind of why
you're just kind of watching. You don't really get to see.
Whenever you hear about the the finals of the Final Four being held in like Dallas at AT&T Stadium, I'm thinking, why they're playing on a basketball court? Are you really going to sit up all the way in the nosebleed section in a 100,000 seat stadium to watch this game? You're basically paying $500,000 to watch TV.
I don't know what year it is.
What's bad too is the only stadium I like to watch a basketball game in is Vanderbilt. You ever seen this in Vanderbilt? You ever been to Vanderbilt? You ever seen a game there? So you want to look this up. They do tournaments there every now and then. You get some if you watch a Vanderbilt game, but the players aren't on the floor. The players are on the floor, but like if you're the coach and the players that are not playing are not on the floor, you're off the floor. You're down like 2 or 3 feet.
Right.
So if you're watching the game, you get to see the whole game. You get to see the ball go out of bounds, and you don't have, Spike Lee blocking your view. If you go to Madison Square, you can't see that side of the out of bounds line because there's a row of people there.
Spike Lee's short though. I could see over him. It's got to be the shoes.
Who do you like? You're going with Miami. I'm gonna go with Denver.
I'm gonna go with Denver in 5. I'm gonna root against that, but I'm gonna go with Denver in 5.
I got Denver in 6.
Yeah, I got Denver in 6.
I also have the Golden Knights in 6.
I got Miami stealing one in Denver, and then winning one at home, and Denver wins the rest. And then in hockey, I like Vegas, but I couldn't tell you who was going to win. I don't know enough about.
I'm going Panthers in 7. I'm riding this wave.
Panthers, that would be great.
Panthers in 7.
The NHL needs a good.
Florida needs a cup.
finals.
They don't have one, right? I
Yeah.
mean, even Tampa Bay didn't win it. It's just been holding.
I'm just hoping Florida doesn't get the sweep. I'll take the Nuggets and the Panthers, but not both the Heat and the Panthers. That's going to be too much partying in Miami.
Right.
Way too much.
All right, guys. This has been really fun. I really appreciate the extra time. Congratulations, Riverside.
And Hopewell.
And Hopewell. Good luck at State College in the next few days. I hope you guys bring
If they
home
get there.
the trophy.
Might take a few days.
Right.
And a few games.
So you've been listening to the Hey Peanuts Sports Show at 99.3 WBVP and 95.7 WNBA, brought to you by St. Barnabas. BeaverCountyRadio.com and Facebook Live. Come check us out. If you didn't get to see all the show, you go right there and you get to see the whole show. And you can always check back. It keeps a track of all our shows, so we can always fact check this.
Yes.
To say, just to make sure, I'm going to remind you, I'm still down for 88 wins this year. Let's go Bucks. And we'll see you next Wednesday at our regular time. We're not getting messed up this time, right? Unless there's.
We'll see how the high school baseball goes.
Well, that's
We'll
on the
see.
15th, though. That's not next week.
Yeah, but there's still a few games to get there, so there might be games on the. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be on the radio. We hung out
Whether
extra
you
today
like
'cause
it or not.
We absolutely having a blast here. Try to call in next week. 724-843-1888. You guys have a nice night. I had fun. Thanks again, Matt. Thanks again, Brian.
Of course.
Drive
Thank
safe, and we'll see you next week.
You're listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.